Welcome to the Tuolumne Utilities District Regular Board Meeting of August 11th, 2026. We all stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance, flag, States.
Public forum. The board welcomes public attendance and comments on district matters. This section is reserved for items not on the agenda. The board may not discuss or take action on these items, but values and considers all input. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. Do we have anybody who wants to speak? Seeing none, we'll come back.
Okay, consent calendar, item number 1, minutes of the regular board meeting of July 28th, 2026. And item number 2, approval of reimbursement claims for director's statement of meetings attended and or travel expenses and claim summary for July 2026.
Okay. Do we have anybody who wants to pull anything on it? I do too.
I'd like to pull a claim summary.
Yeah, I will too.
Okay.
Go ahead.
On 6/26, Carson Manufacturing Company, linear replacement at Quartz. What sort of project is that? Sounds kind of interesting.
We had to replace the liner for the balancing pond. It's the pond that's above Quartz.
Oh,
that we
yeah.
Fill up late in the year to.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had to replace that liner.
Wow. Okay. Cool. 9/26, Environmental Systems Research Institute. That sounds kind of interesting too. What's that all about?
That's a GIS stuff that we're working on. Tony's working on and Corey are working on.
Or what are we GPSing?
GIS.
Oh, GIS. Excuse me. Okay. Thank you. Municipal maintenance equipment. Oh, this is 20/26. Municipal maintenance equipment. Backcon boom rotator. I know what that is, or I'm pretty sure I know what that is. I know that we were at a point where we needed to replace the VACCON some time ago. I hope that we're going to be able to, so this thing doesn't nickel and dime us to death, the one that we've got now.
Well, I would hope the same thing, but yeah, we had to replace the turret on top.
Yeah.
That's been, so Will was able to find it at a reduced cost there from other numbers, but
I know those things are god awful expensive.
big money.
But I just, if it's going to start.
They're right. I agree with you and the mechanics agree with you.
Okay. Also, on 22/26, Rock Creek Energy Group, FERC Regulatory Consultant Services. What is that for?
They are helping us with our regulatory compliance issues that we may have with the Project 1061. Yep, PG&E.
Okay, great. And also on 22/26, Sierra Consultants, Land and Structure Plan Set. I guess my question is, why are we having outside people draw plans for our sewer systems?
Just to help the engineer so they can keep working on Sierra Pines and keep moving forward with that. There's 3 of them that are tied up with it and just not quite enough time for the Columbia hydraulic improvement, the time that's needed to put into that, to design it and get it to Caltrans and through the whole process.
Okay, well, that's it for me.
Anybody else? I'm curious about one on 326, time-lapse photography camera. What are we doing?
We bought a time-lapse photography camera for projects. It's up at Sierra Pines right now, taking
Okay.
pictures.
Okay, thanks. That's all I got. Any public comment? Seeing none. Okay. I would be looking for a motion then to accept this.
I move that we accept it.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Yes.
None opposed.
Okay, regular business. Item number 3, Coach's Corner Annual Water Quality Report.
Okay, you could take one of those and pass it down. Okay, so this edition of the Coach's Corner is going to give you a kind of a brief discussion on what districts like TUD are required to put out annually. This has been a requirement for probably 24, 25 years now, and that is a consumer confidence report or an annual water quality report, one and the same. Each year, TUD is required to prepare and distribute the previous calendar year's Consumer Confidence Report, or CCR, that summarizes drinking water quality, testing results, source water information, and regulatory compliance activities. The CCR, also commonly referred to as Annual Water Quality Report, provides transparency for our customers and demonstrates TUD's commitment to delivering safe, reliable drinking water. The CCR is based on required water quality monitoring completed throughout the year in accordance with state and federal drinking water regulations. It must summarize detected contaminants, testing results, applicable regulatory standards, source water information, required health and educational language, and compliance issues. Any steps taken to address them. The report must be prepared in a clear, customer-friendly format and distributed annually to customers by July 1st through an approved methods to ensure customers have access to the information. Some of the takeaways are water continues to meet state and federal regulatory standards. TUD conducted extensive testing throughout 2025 across its water system for bacteria, disinfectant, metals, organic chemicals, radioactive substances, and other regulated contaminants. All detected constituents remained below applicable regulatory limits and met drinking water standards. As required under the EPA lead and copper rule revision, TU completed its initial service line inventory and determined that there are no lead service lines or galvanized service lines requiring replacement within the district's distribution system. Historical records, reviews, and field investigation confirmed all service lines are non-lead materials. Approximately 96% of our water supply comes from the Sierra Nevada surface water sources originating from Lyons and Pinecrest, with groundwater supplying roughly 4% of the annual demand. TUD operates multiple treatment plants and active wells serving 11 water service areas throughout the district. TUD participates in the EPA's Unregulated Contaminant Monitoring Rule, or UCMR 5 stands for the 5th round, programs which gathers data on contaminants that may warrant future regulation. This proactive monitoring helps protect public health and supports future regulatory decision-making. The 2025 report confirms that our water systems continue to meet all state and federal drinking water standards, that we have no lead service lines in our distribution system, and that we continue proactive monitoring for emerging contaminants. While no water quality impacts were identified, the report did include one administrative reporting violation related to a third-party laboratory accreditation issue, and corrective actions were immediately implemented. Overall, the report reflects the excellent work of our operations, water treatment, and regulatory compliance teams in delivering safe, reliable drinking water to our customers. TUD will continue to monitor and test for drinking water at frequencies required by state and federal regulations, maintain compliance with evolving drinking water regulations, update service line inventories as new information becomes available, participate in emerging contaminant monitoring programs, invest in infrastructure, treatment process, and water quality protection efforts to ensure continued delivery of safe, reliable drinking water. The 2025 Annual Water Quality Report confirms that TU continues to provide safe, high-quality drinking water that meets state and federal standards while proactively addressing emergency regulatory requirements and maintaining transparency with our customers. So if you've ever wanted to know what a CCR is, there you go. Any questions? Yeah. Go ahead, Director.
Yeah, I was wondering, I know that the team has been really proactive on updating whatever piping they could wherever possible, but downtown Sonora, we still, there isn't still lead down there? I mean, how have we gotten that all out without actually replacing everything?
Everything that we've dug up, and then we did a bunch of pothole work for the service inventory. There's been no lead. The last place that we saw lead was many, many years ago, was actually out in Columbia.
So the old piping down there is what, steel?
Some galvanized, some copper, probably more copper than anything.
Well, that's good news. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
The Coach's Corner things are helping a lot. This particular one about water quality, real quiet, but it can sure sneak up and bite you if you're not staying ahead of it with all the projects so that we are not having too old of equipment.
Again,
It's a good job. Any public comment? Okay.
Okay, staff reports?
Okay, I'll be brief. The only thing I really have to report is yesterday, along with many of you, attended two meetings. We had a CSDA meeting, Tuolumne County chapter that Pete Campa chaired. One interesting thing that the district, that chapter is desiring to implement is a Tuolumne County Infrastructure Partnership Initiative. Pete's better at describing this, but the way I see it, it's an effort for special districts like TUD, Twain Arts CSD, Groveland, and other CSD districts to be on the ground floor at the start of any sort of development to make sure that water service, sewer service, fire protection, and any other services like that are thought about at the very beginning stages so that it doesn't get many months or further down the line, lots of money spent before there's a sudden realization there's a problem or a unforeseen circumstance with any of the services. So I think this is a great initiative and we'll just see where it goes from there. The only other thing I attended yesterday with many of you was the LAFCO meeting where they took up our municipal service review and it was adopted. And again, I'm proud to say that that's a great example of how efficient and how well run our operations are here at TUD. So that's it for me.
Director Ringen had some.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask if we are going to somehow agendize, bookmark, whatever you want to call it, that MSR report, because it'll be due in 5 years, but the last time we did was 15. So
Yeah,
maybe we'd like to make sure and do it 5.
2013 was the last one. Yeah. Let's see, who's going to be here in 5 years? I'll be here. So I guess I'm it.
All right, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
The only thing that I have, the Dove fire, I know everybody heard about it. We didn't sustain any damage. It burned around the fence, one little spot inside at regional there. We're still working with CAL FIRE and the city with some different things there, but besides losing power and internet, we had no problems there. The generators did their job. Corey got Starlink hooked up down there for us, so we had backup because we were down for it was a few days. We were down on the without internet for a few days until Corey got the Starlink hooked back up, and one day, okay. And then since then, internet has dropped, Starlink has kicked back in, so it's been a benefit so to have these backups. And then we'll work on some numbers that you'll see in the ops report, hopefully, if we can see a change in demand flows like from Sonora because of the fire, you know, and then pulling all the water.
You think it would go up or down, the demand flow?
Demand should have gone up on it, but at the same time, the heat was increasing, so demand was already on its way up. So we're working to see if we can see a definite time frame in the fire area.
I think it's fair to say that the design of that plant was well done with regard to fire, because that fire did everything it could to get in there. It couldn't do it.
Yeah. That's all I have to report.
Since we have kind of a light agenda, I'll update the board, brief the board on a few items, in addition to Sierra Pines, real briefly. Number one, we're under contract with Plum Construction to build a cover structure down at the regional plant. There's two. We're under contract for one. We plan to start work on that next, excavating the footings, and then they'll move in, pour those footings, and hopefully we'll have a building structure up here by the end of the year. Also, another project that you folks don't hear much about, but in 2024, we went before the board to get authorization to apply for a grant for ditch domestics to connect 24 of them to our treated water system. For those of you that aren't exactly familiar with ditch domestics, there are folks that use ditch water in the home, not for public consumption. It's kind of a legacy problem that we have here at the district. There's about 130 of them. And so Don and I have kind of tracking some correspondence with the state. It looks promising that we'll get a $1.7 grant to connect 24. Doesn't solve the whole problem, but it's a step forward. Also, the Muller Mutual Water Company Consolidation Project, just to let you know, nothing dramatic to report at this time other than we're nearing 90% design with the consultant. Hopefully we'll come to the board later this year after we go out to bid this fall and recommend award of contract to a contractor so we can actually do that project next year. And then on Sierra Pines, a couple of things to bring on your radar. One, we've submitted our preliminary design report to the state. We're waiting comments back from them. We have in the next few days the 30% plan set that we'll be releasing also to the state to get some feedback. We have an RFP out for an electrical engineer. That's kind of the next step in this process, is to get an electrical designer on board. That contract likely will require board approval. We'll be coming back to you for that. In addition, we are out to bid for erosion control, trying to stay ahead of our guys who are out there doing the earthwork. We know very soon rain's going to hit. And so we have a big scar that's right above the Tuolumne Main Canal, which is still the water supply to Crystal Falls, which would pose some challenges if we get a lot of sediment in that canal for the water treatment operators. So we're out to bid on erosion control. In addition, we're in discussions with West Tech. They're the supplier of the filter units that we intend to use. And we're firming up price terms and conditions on their proposal. We will be coming to the board for authorization for that. It's probably about a $3.5 million purchase. The reason we need to purchase that now is that it's about a year lead time. And so to get that purchase order issued early will allow us to time and sequence setting those filters on the concrete slab before we build the building around it. And then Carolyn may mention this, but we're relying on finance to help submit the claims. The money is always very important. And I believe they're working towards that and managing the cash flow on the project. So, and then we'll be giving the board more regular updates. Abby, brief. That's all I have to.
Question?
Yeah, I was wondering, Eric, there's been a lot of talk, I've been following this kind of close about, there's this El Nino thing coming up for this year. It's already supposed to be underway. I'm no weatherman, I don't want to be, although I'd like to be able to say things and get paid for it and be wrong and not get any blowback. But seriously though, that's been one of the things that's been concerning me, is if it does turn out to be a really wet, drenching winter, what is going to happen with all the water that's going to come off all that excavation above the main canal up there at Sierra Pines. I mean, someone's gonna have to figure out where to divert all of that.
Yeah, that's our concern as well. We share that. That's why we're been discussing this early on. The game plan is to jute the slopes, to then come in and install wattles. There's different ways to install wattles, but we're gonna install them so that they're staggered, the appropriate spacing, and dug in, or at least roped, so they're connected together. We'll be installing silt fence, and then the game plan is to have an erosion control contractor move in towards the end of September. Because if you wait too long, your seed's not gonna germinate. And they're gonna apply 3,000 pounds per acre of this bonded fiber mulch, which creates kind of, you guys remember Magic Shell when you had ice cream as a kid? It's gonna create a shell that helps protect it from the impact of the rain falling on the slopes. Aside from that, yes, it's gonna be a constant monitoring exercise after each storm. Before and after each storm, we're required to, make sure we don't have a blowout, a silt fence or a wattle or anything like that. So we are trying our best, but it's something we are concerned about.
Good, because I mean, you never know. I mean, it could be a dry winter all of a sudden, but if it's gonna be, they're saying it could be a record El Nino, and that really gets my concern up, so do whatever you can, because I mean, the biggest thing is just how to move the water away from, rather than trying to slow it down or something like that, because sooner or later, something's gonna blow out. It will, especially if it's pounding down on it. So anyway, that's all.
Can you tell me what a wattle is?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
A jute, a wattle, a silt fence,
It was
all
not
this
an
stuff.
acronym. It was an actual word. And actually, I mentioned it, my kids were like, what's up? Because they like the word. They also call them fiber rolls. If you've ever seen, they look like a tube, almost like a big sausage or a big snake, probably about 6, 8, maybe 8-inch diameter, or more, maybe 12. And they're laid along slopes. Yeah, there's a bunch out in the yard coiled up. They're laid along slopes to intercept that runoff as it comes down. It breaks it up, and then it collects the sediment so that it doesn't keep transporting sediment all the way to the bottom of the slope and then eventually to the.
Anybody else?
Silt.
Silt fence. It's generally a black colored fence. We have it on site, and it's almost like a filter fabric. If you've ever seen a filter fabric, and it's laid in, trenched in and laid in so that as the sediment, if the sediment does reach it, it's supposed to retain that sediment up against the fence and let the water transmit. So it's just another tool or technique to prevent the sediment from getting into the water course, which is really, we have a permit and we have a consultant that comes and does weekly inspections, and then Louis, our superintendent, is on site. He's responsible on a day-to-day basis to make sure the silt fence is properly installed and doesn't get trampled or doesn't get blown out after.
Did you have any?
I got a question about something else. Anybody else got?
I do on this.
Go ahead, yes.
So thanks for the update. I'm glad we have kind of a short meeting so we can catch up on a few things. 2 meetings ago, the board, we had some questions and they haven't been answered yet. I want to see if we can get them answered today. That was the temporary bridge. 2 meetings ago, we said it's $60,000 for a temporary bridge. Why don't you just put the permanent bridge in first? So my first question is, what's the answer to that?
Well, we couldn't put the permanent bridge in. It requires FERC approval, Diane.
And
FERC approval is probably a year.
Tell us about FERC approval.
Well, we don't have a direct relationship with FERC. It's PG&E that holds the FERC license. So we have to work through PG&E, which is a bit of an intermediary. We started about a year ago with our discussions with PG&E, and just a few months ago, maybe actually a month and a half ago, we got an actual explicit, these are the submittal requirements. So knowing that the grading work on this project is the first phase, and you can't do the grading unless you have a canal crossing, we were faced with either delay the project or install a temporary bridge, delay the project by a year or install a temporary bridge.
Wow. Okay, well, that kind of answers the second half of that question. Go ahead.
Well, my question goes back to, why didn't we do this way earlier? We've known we're gonna do this project for years now.
Well, part of it involves the grading. Part of it involves, like I said, a year and a half ago, we started this conversation. We were also under contract with a design builder. That was going to be in their scope.
Yeah.
Since we've taken that on, and we've progressed this project 3 times as fast as the.
Much quicker. Okay, and then by my estimation, the things we talked about in the last meeting, by you taking on the project and moving it along quicker, we're saving like $40 million for doing that. Yeah, at least that. It was 100, what was the price that Hewitt bid the project?
Yeah, we had $111 million
Yeah.
cost estimate.
And you think you can do it for less than that?
Oh,
Can you do it for $40 million less than that?
We are targeting a cost that is over 40 million less.
Good.
So wait a minute. Let's come back to reality here.
That is reality.
No, listen to me. Stop cutting me off. We were sold, the board was sold going with design build. I can remember arguing against this, that I didn't think it was gonna work. It didn't sound good to me, but that doesn't matter. The whole reason we went to design build and with Marsh Wagner and all that was because we had $46.6 million. That was our budget. Hard stop budget. That was what we had to spend. And that was why we brought on the design build, because we were told that that would keep us within that budget. And we would always know what that amount was going to cost us for construction all the way through so that we could hold to that. That's the reality. We're not being saved anything. If we're at 65 million, we are now 20 million over budget, plus the 2.5, which I think was 5 million that got lost when this thing blew up with the design build thing and we brought it back into house.
Let's let them
That's
get
reality.
answers to different realities.
President Hollis, with all due respect, this is pointless. This is a pointless discussion. It's not agendized. We're off the agenda and we need to get back to the agenda.
We have, there were 2 questions brought up. That was one of the questions, and it has remained unanswered in the intermediate time. The other question that was brought up that I do want to insist on answering was, why did we spend $10,000 on heavy duty Cathart shirts, sweatshirts? And the answer is there was 100 sweatshirts and they're silk screened. So they cost about $100 a piece. And in talking to General Manager Perkins, he said the reason for that is because when we do take this project on ourselves, as we have done, it stretches everybody in the whole place. Mentioned several things in the last meeting that while the construction crew is handling this, which we have different opinions on how much money it saves, but it's a lot, that's things that they can't do for the other groups, and the other groups have to do them themselves. And you mentioned just now that we're also taking on all the logistics of supporting it instead of having it on a contract. And so this is going to be a lot of work for everybody for a year. And according to General Manager Perkins, he was saying, because everybody has to pull so hard for so long, he was hoping that 2-3 years from now, people will look back, look at the sweatshirt and say, I was part of that project. We did that kind of amazing project. And so that's the answer to that question that was brought up 2 times ago. It's important for us to, as board members, make sure that we are spending our money wisely. But when we ask those questions, we have to also get the answer. So that's all I have with that.
Thank you.
Oh, we have one
If we're
more.
done with Sierra Pines. Going back earlier in the report, you talked about the Muller consolidation project. If memory serves me, that will be at very little cost to TUD, correct?
Very little is the correct statement. The reason it's not zero is because we have committed to upsizing the water main that's running down from a 8-inch to a 10-inch. And the state was unwilling to pay for that additional upsize because it wasn't critical for the consolidation of that water system. But it is critical for us to have that additional capacity to serve Tuolumne. Part of our long-range vision is Sierra Pines could consolidate to Tuolumne. And before that time occurs, we to maintenance on the Tuolumne clear well, which means we're going to have to drain that, serve that community from Ponderosa Hills and Upper Basin.
Yeah. Yeah, my point is that TUD has over the years, over the decades, when they have acquired these smaller failing systems, there's been all kinds of different financial agreements and mechanisms to do that. And in my opinion, this was by far the best, and I think is a model for going forward. And I hope you guys agree with that. So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
I do.
thank you.
All right, so the finance department is buttoning up the books from fiscal year 26, and we are this close to being done. And our unaudited actuals will be presented to you next board meeting. So that's basically the financial reports getting as close as final as possible before audit actually happens, which audit will happen in September. So anyways, that presentation is coming to you. And just to piggyback on what Eric was saying about Sierra Pines, the finance department is submitting claims to the state, and we're about ready to submit one that's about $680,000. But all of our claims previously have been reimbursed to us. So we've actually been getting good cash flow from the state for our reimbursement requests. And so far, including the $680,000 one that's about to be submitted, it's about $2.8 to $2.9 million that we've been reimbursed from the state. And this is in our $10 million, as you were aware, the funding package had kind of 3 different components to it. Right now, we're in the $10 million no interest loan period of the reimbursement stage. So just an update on that.
Thank you.
Good morning. After the last board meeting where your board adopted the resolution to support Aqua's vision of our water future resolution, we were invited to present that item at the Natural Resources Committee meeting for the county last week. So I attended that, presented just a short summary about that vision for Aqua, and the Board of Supervisors is going to bring that similar resolution but separate from the Board of Supervisors for Tuolumne County to Aqua to support that vision as well. So it just, again, is an additional entity at the county level this time, not just water districts, showing support and showing their level of priorities over water for our community, and to show that for the next governor of California. So I was appreciative of them for taking that. I believe that's at their next meeting next Tuesday. And then, as Eric mentioned, bless you.
Bless you.
Bless you. As Eric mentioned, we are assisting with the engineering department just to put together a short, succinct presentation, but a visual presentation for you that we'll provide on a regular basis about Sierra Pines and the updates on that. So you can see that in a visual form and see some of the drone footage. And so we're supporting on that. I have.
Thank you. Listen.
Directors, communication and reports.
Well, just a question. Given the recent national attention that cybersecurity has been given, and as many of you know, several,
But let's not do that right today.
well,
But
if I could finish. finish the thought? The thought is that General Manager Perkins might want to consider having Corey provide some of the staff report, be part of the staff reporting, because it is a critical aspect of our
Yeah.
operations, in my opinion.
If I understand what you're trying to relay to me is you want some sort of report from Corey on IT, and the last couple of months, it's been in our operations report, the back of the last part of our operations report. But just in general, we cannot broadcast our tactics, how we keep ourselves safe. It's just something we can't talk about in public. So if you have specific questions or something, maybe pull you in, have a conversation. We just can't do it in public.
Okay, respect it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Makes sense.
So what things you've been doing in the last week? That the report? That- Go ahead.
Yes, so cybersecurity is important. I know we have we give that attention that it's due, and it probably not news to anybody that a number of agencies across the country have experienced that. It's gotten national attention. There was something that just actually came out early this morning from NSDA that Senator Schiff and some other folks have introduced the Water Cyber Shield Act, creating a reporting system to the federal government and taking some steps to strengthen the EPA's oversight of water and wastewater facilities, including an annual cybersecurity assessment with compliance elements. So, in any case, I just that's kind of top of mind. So I apologize if I go kind of turn there.
No, it's
Yeah. Okay.
good and important.
I did. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of to piggyback on what we did last session, which we approved the water division, California Vision resolution, and then Abby referred to that we represented. The president of Aqua said something I think is important for us to, I mean, this is stuff we know, but it's just important to maybe reiterate. And he said it I thought very well. He said, water is more than a resource. It's a foundation upon which California's future, and of course our county's future, will be built. Every major challenge facing our state, from housing affordability, economic growth to food security and wildfire resilience, depends on reliable water supplies and modern water infrastructure. It goes on to say, what makes water such a powerful issue is its ability to transcend political divides. Every Californian depends on safe, reliable, and affordable water. Every community benefits from resilient infrastructure. Every business and industry relies on dependable water supply to succeed. Water is California's ultimate unifier. And so it is for California. I think so it is for our county. So it is for this board. So I'll just leave it at that. Thanks.
It's well said. Thank you.
Okay, on 7/31, attended the Aqua Headwaters Committee meeting. I got a lot of catching up to do. I mean, they're processing a lot of different legislative things, and when there's some things that are worthwhile coming back with a report on, I will bring it. On 8/4, attended the Mountain Counties Water Resources Agency Association Legislative Committee meeting. And I don't really have anything to report out on that because we're just finishing up the year. The legislature's sort of closing down for the summer vacation, and it was just a cleanup and sort of begin planning for what's going to come up in the coming legislative year. On 8/5, attended the Tuolumne County Natural Resources Committee meeting, and that was kind of interesting. Abby just brought up what TUD brought up at that meeting. Now, I only attended as a public, as a resident of Tuolumne County, and was asking about firewater draft points, which I've been working on for well over 10 years, and how TUD has gone as far as they could. I know that myself and another board member worked real hard to find grant monies in order to move that thing forward, and it didn't cost the ratepayers anything. Any time that TUD had in it was paid for by the grant, so on. But TUD is not in the firefighting or fire protection business. We're water and sewer only, and that's why we were so careful not to spend any ratepayer money on it, because that's would be a misuse of ratepayer money, really not legal at all. So I was asking our two supervisors that are chairman and vice chair of the Natural Resource Committee, with this apparently horrible fire season we're deep in, and just we dodged the bullet with that Dove fire. When are they gonna get those things in? Is it gonna be after we have the fire, or how about before? So at any rate, I didn't get any kind of real good response from that. I don't know what's going on there. I know that one supervisor said, what? I've been on the board for 7.5 years. I haven't never heard anything about that. I don't know. I don't know where he's been. At any rate, on 8/6, attended webinar connecting with community and utility from a utility perspective. I was just I attended that webinar and sort of to educate myself on what we should be doing as far as connecting with the community, especially as we move towards the getting involved with the PG&E acquisition. 8/7, attended the Mountain Counties Water Resource Association Eco Flight. This was last Friday. This was incredibly educational on two fronts. One, for me, because I had the opportunity to get up in a small plane with several other people, and we flew over the major fire areas, such as the American Fire, the Mosquito Fire, and several others. And it's one thing to see it from the ground, which I have. I've taken several field trips, if you want to call it, to the fire area, especially up like in El Dorado area. And it was really incredible to see from the ground. But when you get in the air, it's totally different. And the only thing I got to say is we cannot let that happen here in Tuolumne County. If it does, I think we can all just put the key in the door and walk away, because there won't be anything of any value left up here. You cannot believe the devastation. But okay, so much for that. The good side is that the reason why Mountain Counties put this on was to, we had several, not as many as we had hoped, but we had several Southern California, well, we invited many Southern California legislators to come. We only really got one, but we got several of their staff people. And so I made it my mission to educate them, because of the time I've lived up here and the fires I've been through, and just my experience with what's been going on, to try and answer any questions they had. And I had pictures with me and backup information. And so they were very curious, and they went home with a real message to the boss man and, or woman. And hopefully we get the principals up here if we do it again. So that's all from me.
Okay, yeah, I had attended the LAFCO and the CSDA meeting with Dawn and Jeff and Carol. And yeah, Dawn, as Dawn reported, the MSR for TUD was approved. And Director Reagan, I think you brought up about who would calendar it in 5 years. I'll tell you, LAFCO, since they've hired this outside entity to run their meetings and take care of them, they're Johnny on it now. And I think as long as they continue with that Mike Lucan's company, shouldn't be a problem. That's a real professional organization now, and very impressive and good to see. The other two MSRs with the Tuolumne City Sanitary District and the Tuolumne Parks and Rec was held for some language changes, so they didn't approve those. And then that CSDA meeting, I agree with Don, that's a good thing to get all the special districts involved early on any land development issues, whether it's a subdivision or somebody building a house. They need to know what it's going to cost to hook up to water, to sewer, to whatever it is they're going to need, and not 6 months or a year down the line when they're already deep into it and get hit with something they weren't planning or budgeted for. So good deal. That's it for me. Thank you.
On 7/31, I went on a webinar for the Headwater, Aqua Headwater. And I think that Director Ringen kind of mentioned that. And I was also at on 8/10 at the LAFCO and CSDA meetings. And I think we had a lot of people there, so they've all covered that. Thank you.
And I, on 8/3 went to Sonora City Council, so they're up to, and 8/10 again, CSA and CSDA and LAFCO. And having been a contractor, we note, and several people noted in there that contractors come up here, start a project, and then sometimes go bankrupt, trying to keep that project going. And I agree that if they had a better idea what their costs were in the beginning, we could stop a lot of that. And that's all I got. That, we're adjourned on probably the shortest meeting I've ever had here.